What's up, YouTube? It's Rai here. It's been a while since I put out a video, been busy with work and everything, and I've played a lot of the Star Wars Battlefront beta, and I thought this would be a good chance, a good time to put out a Star Wars Battlefront video disproving all the people out there that say it's too hard to win as Rebels on Walker Assault. Now, it is difficult to win as Rebels, don't get me wrong. It's not that it's something easy, but if done right, you can dominate as the Rebels. And this match here, this is unedited video, straight through of a match that I played Walker Assault with me and just one other buddy, my buddy Santaku here. Now, granted, we were playing on a team that had several decent players that knew how to PTFO. It's playing the objective, guys, right? I mean, that's the key. And the objectives here are these terminals. And the terminals are supremely important as the Rebels. Now, you know, a lot of games have terminal or capture point, type of gameplay. Star Wars, it's a little different in that once you capture it, you don't automatically just all of a sudden earn points and earn those Y-Wings. You have to hold it. Now, when you capture it, you see it turn blue, and then a little bar will kind of start to fill around the circumference of the icon that shows the terminal. Once that bar fills up, you get a Y-Wing. The more Y-Wings you have, if you look at the top middle of the screen, you see those those lines there with the empty circles in the middle, right? Basically, that's your waves of Y-Wings that come in. Once that's time for those Y-Wings to come in, that's when you want to make sure you have as many Y-Wings as possible, because you're going to have more time then to do damage on the walkers. Pretty basic, right? Once you get it and get a feel for it, it's pretty understandable what you have to do as the Rebels on Walker Assault on Hoth. So what we decided to do, Santaku and I, was we said, well, we're going to try and make sure we cover at least one of the terminals. We're going to pick this left side one because at the starting point, the first tier of objectives, it's harder to get that one than it is the right side one, we believe, at least in our opinion, when we're playing as Rebels. So we wanted to get there and get that terminal and hold it and get as many Y-Wings out of it as we can, because we figured the rest of the team, those guys will be over there getting the right one, and they did. They held the right one for pretty much the whole time. So we were going to be able to then go ahead and get up there and do it. And then, as you saw earlier, what I did was, with these terminals, guys, since basically they can go and as soon as the Imperials get into a terminal, it resets the counter on your Y-Wing, on getting that Y-Wing. So if you have the circle all the way, it's like 95% full, and one guy with a bubble shield comes in and disables the terminal, when you get the terminal back, if you do, guess what? It's going to be reset to 0. So you want to make sure that you hold that terminal for as long as possible. The worst thing that can happen is you're a second or two away from getting another Y-Wing to come in, and the enemy comes in, disables your terminal, and then you don't get the Y-Wing. So it's imperative that you hold on to it, and hold on to it for a while. Well, how do you do that? Do like what I'm doing here. Use turrets. Don't just sit by the terminal. Get in front of the terminal. Create a buffer zone between your front line, where you're going to engage the enemy, and then the terminal behind it, because you always have reinforcements kind of moving up behind you. But the last thing you want to do is kind of sit behind the terminal, allow a guy with a shield to come in there and pop his shield and grab the terminal, and you can't seem to, you have to then go in there and get it again, and you lose out on getting that Y-Wing. That's the most important thing I can say about this game type is play the objective. Don't do what you do in Battlefield, where you grab a point and then you just go run to the next point and don't defend the point you just had. If you grab a point in this game as a Rebel, defend it. Stay there and defend it. Set up a perimeter. Set up a front line. Communicate with your teammates if you got several on your team, and defend the hell out of that thing, because that's what's going to be the key to you winning this game type and winning it early. Now, you'll see here, we actually take out one of the walkers. The first tier, I never had it. I didn't happen but once. But we took the walker out the very first run here, and a big part of that is because Santaku, my buddy, had an orbital strike. If you happen to pick up an orbital strike as a Rebel, don't just use it. It's tempting because you see a group of 5, 6 bad guys over there all huddled up around the side of the corner there, and you're going to put the orbital strike there and get 6 kills. Yes, but you getting kills is not the objective of this game type. The objective of this game type is taking out the walkers. And as you'll see here, once we basically are able to start doing damage on the walker, we said, okay, we're going to get on this left one. And you'll see Sentaku sends in his orbital strike. I'm going to use my ion blaster, as well as that turret that looks like a radar dish there. That's a vehicle, an anti-vehicle turret. Works great against walkers, against the ATST walkers. So it's a great one to use. And once I run out of that, I start using that. And you'll see here, we end up taking the walker out the first run. And watch what happens when we do take it out. If you look how many Y-Wings we still had, because we had 7, 8 Y-Wings available to us that first tier. That means that now once we take that one out, we can go shift our forces over to the other walker and do damage on that one. And at this point, we're like, hey, we can actually win this in the second tier. We can actually win this pretty quick. We're working together as a team. It's a great feeling when you're able to do that. So guess what? The stuff you're hearing online isn't impossible. It's not, that much more difficult to do. It doesn't need to be completely rebalanced. What it needs is experienced players that PTFO, play the objective in the game the way they're supposed to play it, defend the terminals when they get them, and then do, have an orbital strike or two, or do massive amounts of damage on the walkers when it's your turn to do so. If you do those things, you'll be fine. Hey, it also helps if you have a couple good pilots in the air that are piloting the ships. And it also helps if you have more than just you and a buddy communicating as a team. It's going to reward you for playing as a team and playing together and playing the objectives, as most dice games typically do. So what are my thoughts on the game? Now that I gave you guys some tips, what did I think of the game? Well, I had some apprehensions coming in to the beta, just like I do with any game. Number one, is it going to give me that Star Wars experience, that feeling that I'm in the actual Star Wars movie, in one of the battles? Does it give me that feeling? And then also, does it separate itself from the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and the other massive multiplayer shooters that are out there? I wanted this to feel genuinely like a Battlefront game and not a Battlefield or a Call of Duty or a Counter-Strike game. And I think it accomplishes both those and passes with flying colors. Again, it is a beta. They wanted to use it as a stress test for the multiplayer and make sure that it works good with that. And I'll tell you what, the amount of polish on this game is pretty incredible at this point. It played very smooth. I didn't have too many hiccups. Sure, there's occasional things here and there, occasional hiccups in animation or stuff like that. But considering how much would be going on the screen at one point, and you wouldn't, at least I didn't notice many frame rate drops while I was playing it. Again, my recording device might have had some, but while I was playing it, I didn't notice a ton of frame rate drops and stuff like that, and just it seemed like it was really well polished, really well done. The netcode seemed to be pretty decent. It seemed to be, on point and acceptable, and more than acceptable. It seemed to play really good, and I was surprised at how good it looked and how good it played. Considering I'm playing on Xbox One, which is supposed to be the weakest console, right? It's not supposed to be as powerful as a PS4, and definitely not as much as a PC. So I'm sure you're going to get a great experience on, PC. That'd be the platform to go with. But if not, you're still going to have a great experience even playing on the console. It seems like DICE did a great job in development of this game and making sure that when it is released and does come out, it kind of hits on those checkpoints it needs to hit. The gameplay itself felt great. It does feel like a Battlefront game to me. Once I got the feel of the third person again, I didn't want to go back to first person. You can play first person all you want. I mean, it's not, you could probably play it very successfully too. It's not going to be any problem playing first person. But once I got the feel for it and started playing third person and getting the feeling for the controls down and things like that, I just had a blast with it. And I thought, okay, this is a Battlefront game. It feels different than the Battlefield games. It feels like its own unique kind of multiplayer experience. And that's what I wanted for it. I didn't want just another carbon copy because I have Battlefield games. I have a Call of Duty. I can go play those if I really want that type of gameplay style. I wanted something that felt different, that felt uniquely Star Wars and uniquely Battlefront. And as far as what I can tell in the beta, they nailed that. Some of the things they need to work on, some of the animations with the heroes seem to get kind of wonky and jumping all around the place, and so some of that needs to maybe be ironed out a little bit, and we didn't get everything in the beta, which is good. We got stuff to look forward to, but we didn't get everything in the beta, so there's stuff that is missing that we're not sure about. I know people were complaining about certain things like the jump pack with the shield being OP, like on the Drop Zone Solist map they had in the beta. But again, that's going to be balanced out by other gadgets and other things they have when the game's actually released. So as you see here, I get taken out, but we actually destroyed the second walker on the second tier. We got one on the first tier, one on the second tier of objectives, and won the match. So those guys that are telling you that it can't be done, it's too hard, it's too difficult, tell them to get better and play the objective and get with a buddy, and they'll be fine. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think about Star Wars Battlefront. Are you excited about it? Is it one of your games of the year? It's definitely one of my top games of the year. I can't wait to play it. And tell me what you think about it. Until next time, guys, this is Rai. Take care.